You've got stuff to do, lots of stuff. But how do you fit it all in regardless of your work situation? Planning your work, what, when, and how long, is the key to getting stuff done. Even though taking the time to plan may seem counterintuitive when you're up to your eyeballs in work, obligations, and commitments, planning your days and weeks will actually save you wasted time and stress. It will allow you to focus on getting the right stuff done in a reasonable time frame. If you haven't regularly engaged in planning, it's kind of like a muscle that's not been used. It may be sore initially, but with time and practice, it does get easier and makes work life more satisfying. We're going to be exploring some strategies for developing the art of planning so that you can get your stuff done and reach both your professional as well as your personal goals, whatever they may be. So I want to start with one planning tool that I believe is one of the most effective, yet underutilized by many. It's my favorite tool when it comes to planning and being productive. And as we move through the next few topics, this will come up. So I want you to be familiar with it. It's managing your attention and energy, not your time. Traditional time management strategies that used to work even 5 years ago just don't cut it in today's always connected, do more with less work culture. And this doesn't appear to be slowing down anytime soon. You can schedule and plan, but you also need to be more flexible and allow for the unexpected. How can you accommodate for that and still get everything that you need to do done? This is a big challenge. But planning is still very critical to our daily success because when you go into a day that's unplanned, then you're at the mercy of whatever comes at you. But when you do have a plan, you're not as likely to let the unplanned things get in your way. Failing to budget the time to work your plan means that you're hoping the time will be available to get it done. Even more important than planning your stuff is planning your stuff according to your natural attention energy levels or your circadian rhythms. And this is your new best friend in the battle of stress and overload and getting more stuff done. So, what exactly does all this mean? Well, your attention is a more limited resource than your time. So, for example, have you ever got to the end of your day and you've still got lots to do and you're even motivated to do it, yet you find yourself unable to get traction or get going on any of the work? In this circumstance, you may tell yourself that you simply ran out of time, but you actually ran out of attention to give. Other days, maybe you've been in back to back meetings all day and now it's 4 o'clock before getting any desk time to catch up on emails or other work. On these kinds of days, you may feel that you're short on time, not on attention. Wrong. Your attention energy is a currency to be spent. And if you give away as much as 80% to meetings or other things, don't be surprised that that final 20% of your attention energy amounts to little more than dealing with a few emails or just feeling overwhelmed. Not only does every single thing that we do in a day use up time, we also consume attention energy throughout the day. And if you start to think about time spent in meetings, not just in terms of time spent, but also in terms of attention energy spent, it now becomes clear that complex and difficult meetings are a massive drain on your personal resources. Attention energy is your currency, so you need to budget and spend it wisely. So let's take a closer look at how this will work for you and for planning your days. Now, we all experience different levels of focus and energy throughout the days. And for the most part, they're pretty much the same every day. Knowing and understanding your own rhythms will help you be more productive. On page 9 of your workbook, I've laid out an example of how I've broken these rhythms down into 3 levels. There's proactive, effective, and passive. Now, this isn't an exact science, but it will give you a sense of how rhythms or cycles can move throughout the day. So, proactive is that time of day when you're really fired up. You're alert, you're focused, You can make important decisions, tackle complex tasks. You're a productivity machine, and your output is generally pretty good. Now, effective is where you're still on, but yeah, now you're waning a little bit. You're a little more easily distracted. Sometimes still amazingly productive, but that attention is just lacking a little bit. And then passive. That's that time of day when the lights are on, but your energy is diminished. You struggle with complex tasks. Decision making is really difficult. That may be the time of day that you're reaching for that boost of caffeine to keep you going. Now, if you look at the graph on page 9, this is my attempt at creating a graph for visual purposes. This is a sample of energy and attention levels as they rise and fall throughout a day. So, for example, I start the day in a passive state, and then I slowly build to effective. And at about 10 a.m., I'm hitting my stride. Now I'm into that proactive state. And it drops and rises throughout the day, and the rhythms do continue on. So, ever catch that second wind when you really should be getting to bed? That's probably your circadian cycle at work. Now, looking at this graph, what I want you to notice is there's not a lot of available proactive hours in your day. So, it's vital that as much as possible, you reserve and protect that time for the really big, important stuff. You need to be more strategic about when you plan for big stuff. Most people gear up mid morning, a time that many meetings are scheduled. This is the worst time for meetings, especially those meetings that aren't very productive. And equally important is knowing that what easy stuff you can put off until that passive time of day. So, how would planning around your cycles affect your day? Would this be valuable to you? I hope you agree because the next thing I want you to do are the exercises on pages 10 and 11. These will help you develop your energy and attention timetable, which will maximize how you work. Simply follow the instructions for each exercise. And, if you don't quite nail the time frames exactly, don't worry. By staying aware of your energy and attention throughout the day, you'll soon begin to notice a trend. So this will conclude this submodule of the art of productivity. Be sure to do the exercises before continuing on to the next submodule, which is the Cord model of productivity. And it's where you'll learn how to balance your workflow and focus your attention on what you need to be doing. See you there.